In today's video, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 best loadouts to use here in Black Ops 6. Now, just yesterday, we received our first weapon balance here, so you need to change the weapons that you're using. So if you guys are new and find this video to help you out in any way, make sure that like button, subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and let's get into it. If you need help unlocking anything here in Black Ops 6, make sure to check out U4GM. They can help you with any challenge in the game, from camo challenges to any hard challenge in the game. They also provide very cheap codes to redeem, like XP codes and rare skins. Go use my code PARA for 5% off. Now, getting into our first weapon, guys, we have the C9, the MP5, whatever you may call it. This weapon did get a damage range buff, making it even better. I thought it was already good. I didn't think it needed a buff, but they went ahead and buffed it and made this weapon even better. So this is definitely an SMG that you should start using more often. Now, we are going to start with the muzzle here first, and we're going to go ahead and throw on the compensator. This can help with vertical recoil control, and we're also getting some gun kick control with this attachment. Now, the recoil isn't bad on this weapon. We are going to make it a lot easier to use with the recoil that it has a little bit, so the recoil control is going to be easier here, but the gun kick on this weapon, with this weapon having somewhat of a fast fire rate, is definitely going to be the main problem here. So we're going to go ahead and calm that gun kick down. We're going to make the weapon more accurate, so no matter what gunfight we get into, up close, long range, you're going to be more accurate in your gunfights and win more. So we're going to go ahead and throw on the compensator, which is the best muzzle in the game. Now, for the barrel here next, we are going to be adding on the reinforced barrel. The damage range is already good on this weapon. They buffed it, made it even better, and with the reinforced barrel, we're going to go ahead and make it even better and turn this weapon basically into an assault rifle. This weapon is already good at long range, and with the attachment and the buff it got, it's just going to be super nasty at longer ranges. So we're getting damage range and bullet velocity with this attachment, so our bullets are traveling faster, traveling further, hitting harder to make this weapon better at longer ranges. So this weapon is going to be super nasty with this attachment. Now, with the magazine here next, I do want to go ahead and throw on the first extended mag. I don't think we need the 50 round drum. I don't think it's needed here. The time to kill on this weapon is really good. The reload time isn't that bad here. So we are going to throw on the first extended mag. We're going to bump our mag size up to 40. We're going to be able to mow down the whole enemy team here all at once. So you don't have to reload all the time. You don't have to reload after a gunfight, in the middle of a gunfight, or at bad times. So go ahead and throw on the first extended mag. The rear grip, we're going to go ahead and throw on the CQB grip. Now, omni movement is very important in this game. You slide all the time, you run all the time, and dive all the time, so the CQB grip makes total sense here. We're shooting faster off a dive, shooting faster off a slide, and shooting faster off a sprint. This can help us be more aggressive and have that aggressive play style, diving everywhere, sliding everywhere, running everywhere, so it makes sense that we run the CQB. So go ahead and throw this on. And then for my final attachment, we are going to the stock here, and you're going to want to run the balanced stock. This can give us strafing movement speed, hip fire movement speed, and aim walking movement speed. So no matter what mobility that we're getting here, it's increased, so we're moving really quick around the map, getting into more engagements, and getting those high kill games. Now, for our next weapon, we have the KSV. Now, a lot of people at the beginning of the game said this is the worst gun in the game, hit marker machine and everything. It is kind of rough, not gonna lie, once you start leveling it up here, but once you get the right attachments, this is actually one of the most broken guns in the game here. And I'm gonna show you a build that you're never going to put away here. But again, we are gonna start with the muzzle, and we're gonna go ahead and put on the compensator. Again, with this being the best muzzle, we want to have the best control of our weapon, be more accurate and everything. So of course, we do want to add on the best muzzle, which is the compensator, for our first attachment. Now, for the barrel here next, again, we are going to be adding on the reinforced barrel. The damage range is very needed on this weapon. Now, you could go ahead and put on the best long barrel, but I do want some bullet velocity with this weapon, and also they increased the damage range. So I don't think we need the long barrel anymore. The reinforced barrel is going to be plenty here, but also we're getting that bullet velocity. So with this weapon being somewhat good, it getting a damage range buff, making it better, and adding on the reinforced barrel is going to make this weapon better in those medium to longer range gunfights. Up close is a melt machine, so add on the reinforced barrel, it's definitely going to make it even better here. Now, for the underbarrel next, we are going to be adding on the vertical foregrip. Now, this can help with horizontal recoil control. Now, what I have found on this weapon here, it does have a lot of both vertical and horizontal recoil. So I do want to throw this on here. We're going to calm the weapon's recoil down a lot. You're going to have full control of this weapon. You're not going to have any troubles controlling this weapon. You're not going to have any troubles controlling this weapon. The compensator and the vertical foregrip is going to be a great combo, getting really good accuracy in your gunfight. So go ahead and throw this on. Now, we are skipping the magazine here and going to the rear grip next, and we're going to be adding on the CQB grip. Now, this attachment, if you have it unlocked, is a perfect attachment here. If you're always sliding, diving, running, it just makes sense to run this attachment here. Now, if you don't have this attachment, go ahead and add on either the commando or the assault grip. These two are going to be your next best options here. You're shooting faster off a sprint with this attachment. You're shooting faster off a sprint with the commando grip, and also getting a bit of aim down sight speed here. But if you do have the CQB grip, add this on here. You're shooting faster off off a dive, a slide, and a sprint. It just makes sense running this attachment here. So of course, we are going to be adding on the CQB grip. And then getting into my final attachment here, we are going to the stock here, and we're going to be adding on the balanced stock. Now, this is going to give us more mobility on this weapon here. So with this class setup, we have more firepower, accuracy, mobility, and handling. Now, for our third weapon, guys, we have our first assault rifle, which is the XM4. Now, all the assault rifles in this game did get a nerf here, but after trying all the weapons out here and testing them using the right builds, the XM4 is now the best assault rifle in the game, in my opinion here. And with this build, we're gonna fix the nerf, of course, make it accurate, no recoil, stealthy, aggressive build here. So we are gonna start with the optic, and we're gonna be adding on the Kepler Microflex. I've said this multiple times already. This is the best optic in the game here. If you don't have it unlocked, add what you guys have here, or add on your favorite optic. So this is gonna be my first attachment. For the muzzle, we are going to be adding on the suppressor. I want this to be a stealthy build, so I no longer want to be on the radar. People can't really hear me as well on the map, so we are going to add this on. Stay stealthy, be quiet, to go on those higher kill streaks, help us get our nukes and increase our KD, so go ahead and throw on the suppressor. Now, for the barrel here, you have a toss-up. You have the long barrel or you have the reinforced barrel. It's honestly on what you want to run here. For me, with the damage range on this weapon getting nerfed here, we want to bring that back, so we do want to add on the long barrel to fix the nerf on this weapon. So go ahead and add on the long barrel. If you want to run the reinforced barrel, it's totally up to you. You want some extra bullet velocity and not the best damage range, or do you want the best damage range here? So for me, the long barrel is going to be the better choice. Now, we're going to skip the underbarrel in the magazine here and go to the rear grip, and we're going to be adding on the commando grip. Now, that's going to give us some aim down sight speed and some sprint to fire speed. Now, with the XM4, I'm not really a fan of the handling on this weapon, so I do want to increase that. I want my aim down sight speed to be faster in those gunfights. I want to shoot faster off a sprint just in case we have other SMGs, other good fast mobility assault rifles here. So we're going to add on the commando grip, help us be more aggressive in those gunfights, shoot faster off a sprint, aim down sights faster, so add on the commando grip. And then for the stock here, we're going to be adding on the combat stock for my final attachment. Now, for assault rifles, I like to pre-aim a lot around corners if I have a harp up or a UAV. So in those gunfights already, I'm already aimed down sights, which, 90% of the time while you're aimed down sights already before your other opponent, you are going to win those gunfights. But just in case they start shooting at us and, we start flinching up, the flinch resistance is going to help. So when we flinch, we're not going to flinch as hard, so we're not missing any of our shots here. So we're going to go ahead and throw on the combat stock for our final attachment. Next, guys, we have the AS Val, which is still the fastest killing weapon in this game here. And with this build, it has no recoil, it has a great time to kill, and it's still really good at long range. And with the good thing about the AS Val, no matter what build you use here, with our first attachment going into, all the attachments have a suppressed barrel. So by default on the AS Val, you already have a stealthy build here. But we're going to be adding on the long barrel for my first attachment here. And we're going to increase the damage range on this weapon. We're going to fix the nerf and make this weapon better at longer ranges here. One thing about the AS Val is the damage range wasn't too good here. They did nerf it, but adding on the long barrel is going to fix the nerf and also make it better at longer ranges. So we do want to add this on for our first attachment. Very important. Now, for the underbarrel here, we're going to be adding on the precision foregrip. Now, this can help with aiming idle sway and horizontal recoil control. Now, this is going to help the weapon. The idle sway isn't going to be too bad. So if you're aiming down sights all the time, it's not going to be swaying around. It's just going to stay put, stay still, and that's good. So it's going to be a little bit more stable while aimed down sights. And also the horizontal recoil, it's not too bad, but you can definitely tell that it's there. So adding this on is going to go ahead and cancel out that horizontal recoil. So we're going to add this on for a second attachment. Now, we're going to skip the rear grip here. With this weapon already having some high mobility, we don't need one, and we're going to the stock here next, and we're going to be adding on the balanced stock. Now, I like to call the AS Val a submachine gun stuck in assault rifle category because the AS Val acts more as a submachine gun than it does an assault rifle, in my opinion here. So what we're going to do is increase our mobility on this weapon so it acts more as a submachine gun here, so we can use it while running around, being aggressive, being people's faces, and that's where the AS Val shines. Being up close, having a crazy time to kill like it does. You want to be up close, be personal with it, and the AS Val is going to help you get a ton of kills here. And then for my final attachment, to help with a little bit more recoil control, we're going to be adding on the recoil springs, which is going to give us a ton of horizontal and vertical recoil control. We're just going to cancel out all the recoil on this weapon, make you have full control of this weapon, and not miss any shots. Now, jumping back to the SMGs here, we have the TANTO 22 SMG, which I think is the strongest SMG in the game, and I don't think it's even close to second how strong this weapon is here. Also, this weapon got a damage range buff, so this weapon is even better here. But we're going to start with this build and start with the optic here and add on that Kepler Microflex. Best optic in the game. Don't need to repeat myself. We're going to go ahead and throw this on. Muzzle here, we're going to add on the compensator, vertical recoil control, gun kick control. This weapon doesn't really have bad recoil, but the weapon does have some weird gun kick to it, so we're going to cancel off that wonky gun kick, make it have better control, and also just have you better recoil control on this weapon, so no matter what gunfight you get into, up close, long range, you are going to have better control of this weapon. Now, we're going to the barrel here next, and we're going to go with the reinforced barrel. I do want some damage range. You know, this weapon, it only got a buff, no nerfs or anything, so the damage range on this weapon's already good. The reinforced barrel is giving us more damage range here, and also we're getting some bullet velocity, so our bullets are traveling faster, they're traveling further, they're hitting harder to give us an even faster time to kill. So we're going to add on the reinforced barrel. Now, we're going to skip the underbarrel here and go to the magazine here next, and we're going to be adding on the first extended mag. I really don't think you need a 50-round mag on this weapon here. I just feel like the handling that you're taking away on this weapon, you don't need that. The handling in this game is very important here, so we are going to be adding on the extended mag 1. We're taking away a little bit of handling. You really can't notice. The only thing is taken away, really, is that reload quickness. That's the only thing that you're going to notice here, but we are going to add on the first extended mag. You never have to reload all the time. After a gunfight, in the middle of a gunfight, you don't have to slow down all the time. You're going to be able to mow people down with this first extended mag here. And then for my final attachment, we are going to the rear grip here, and we're going to be adding on the CQB grip. I just want to increase our sprint to fire speed times on diving, sliding, running, you know, just helping us be more aggressive, shooting faster off a sprint. And like I've said, every weapon in this game needs better sprint to fire speed. Now, we have our first LMG here, which is the XMG. This is one of my favorite weapons in the game just because how accurate the weapon is and also how much damage this weapon has. Most of the time, LMGs by default already have some high damage here, but the XMG is just super broken. No matter what range you're at, it will quickly take someone out, and especially with this class setup, it's just going to be very accurate and just more damage to this weapon. We're going to make it better. So the optic here first, I am not whatsoever a fan of the iron sight, so we are going to be adding on the Kepler Microflex. Now, you do have to grind a lot to get this attachment on this weapon. You actually have to use this weapon to unlock the Kepler Microflex, but whatever attachment you have, whatever optic you have, add them on until you get to this class setup here, but definitely the Kepler Microflex is the cleanest optic in the game. Like I've said, I know I sound like a broken record, but we're going to add this on for our first attachment. Now, for the muzzle here, you could go suppressed or you could add on the compensator. It's on what you really want. Do you want a suppressed LMG build here, or do you just want to have absolutely no recoil? It's on really what you want to run. For me, the compensator is going to be the better choice because we are getting a lot of vertical recoil control, a lot of gun kick control, calming this weapon down, making it even more accurate at longer ranges in any gunfight, really. So I think the compensator is going to be the better choice. Now, with LMGs already having good damage range or anything like that, we don't have to worry about damage range. We're going to add on the grain twist barrel. We're going to increase our bullet velocity on this weapon. The damage is good. The only thing that I want to work on is make our bullets travel faster to our targets quicker. So we're going to add on the grain twist barrel here to increase our bullet velocity. Now, we are going to keep the magazine. We're just going to keep the 100-round mag. I feel like this is perfect on this weapon, and we're going to the rear grip next and add on the commando grip. Now, this is going to give us aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Now, the LMGs in this game, you move really slow, so you definitely want to increase your mobility and handling on this weapon. So the commando grip is giving us a faster aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed for this LMG. And then for our final attachment on this weapon, we are going to the stock, and we're going to be running the light stock here. Now, this is going to give us a 20% increase in our mobility. So with this LMG, we're moving a bit faster, so our mobility and handling increase here. So it's going to kind of feel like somewhat of an assault rifle with a huge magazine here, but definitely the XMG is one of the most broken guns in the game. Now, going back to the assault rifles, we're going to take a look at the AK-74. Now, even though this weapon did get a nerf, it is still the strongest assault rifle in the game here. The best up-close strong-wise and long-range strong-wise. This weapon is still very nasty here. Now, we are going to start with this build here and start with the muzzle. We're going to use the iron sights on this weapon here. We're going to start with the muzzle, and we're going to be adding on the compensator. Once again, best muzzle in the game. That's all you need to know by now here, so we're going to go ahead and throw on the compensator. Now, for the barrel here, we're going to add on the reinforced barrel. I want to increase the bullet velocity on this weapon and also the damage range at the same time. So with the bullets already being strong here, the damage range is still very good. So I want our bullets to travel further, faster, and hit harder to give us a faster time to kill on this weapon. We're going to make it even stronger, even better. So we are going to add on the reinforced barrel. Now, we are skipping the underbarrel and the magazine here and going to the rear grip, and we're going to be adding on the commando grip once again. That's going to give us aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Now, the handling on this weapon is good, don't get me wrong here, but with this weapon, we want to have that advantage on every single person that we get into in a gunfight. SMG, shotgun, other assault rifle, LMG, no matter what they're using, we want to have that advantage of shooting faster and aiming down sights faster than our opponent. So we're going to add on the commando grip on the AK-74. Now for the stock, we're going to add on the balanced stock here. We're going to increase our mobility on this weapon so we can move faster around the map, flank people faster, get into more engagements, and get those higher kills. And then for my final attachment on this weapon, we are going to the fire mods, and we're going to be adding on the recoil springs once again here. I want you to have full control of this weapon, so no matter what gunfight you get into, even with this weapon still being strong, you're going to take out people very quickly with how accurate this build is. Now we're going to take a look at another assault rifle here, the AMES 85, and by the looks of it, you know, seeing the pro Twitch streamers like Shotzi, Dashy, Kenny, everyone from FaZe and everyone, they're using the AMES 85 as the assault rifle this year for the competitive scene. So the good thing about weapons that they're using in the competitive scene, most of the time they only get buffs, and sometimes, very rarely, they get nerfs. So the AMES 85 all year is going to be a great weapon. So we're going to start with the optic here first, and we're going to be adding on the Kepler Microflex. You know, like I've said, this is the best optic in the game. If you don't have it, use what you have unlocked, or add on your favorite optic. For me though, that is the Kepler Microflex. Now for the muzzle here, we're going to be adding on the compensator. We're going to cancel out all the vertical recoil because it is pretty bad on this weapon, and also the gun kick on this weapon is pretty bad, so I do want to cancel out all the recoil and gun kick on this weapon, so we do want to add on the compensator. Now for the barrel, we're going to be running the reinforced barrel. Now this attachment here is actually banned in the competitive scene here, so if something's banned from the competitive scene, it's usually broken all the time. So we are going to add on the reinforced barrel, increase our damage range, increase our bull velocity. This weapon does have a fast fire rate, so that's a great combo with that bull velocity, and the damage range is going to make this weapon better at longer ranges. So of course, we do want to add on the reinforced barrel. Now, we are skipping the underbarrel and the magazine, going to the rear grip, and we're going to be adding on the assault grip here. Now, the aim down sight speed on this weapon is really good. The only thing that I don't like is the sprint to fire speed time. So, we're going to add on the assault grip, increase our sprint to fire speed so we can shoot faster off a sprint than some machine gun players, other assault rifles, or other good weapons in the game. So, we do want to add on the assault grip, which I think is very important. And then for my final attachment, we are going to the stock here, and we're going to be adding on the combat stock for flinch resistance and also some aim walking movement speed. With us pre-aiming all the time around corners, if we have a UAV or the harp up, we're going to be able to be the first person to aim down sights in those gunfights, and also if we get shot at, we're not going to flinch as much. So the combat stock is going to be a really good attachment for this build. Now for our next weapon here, we're going to take a look at one of my favorite guns in the game, which is the PP919, the Bison, the Bullfrog, PP901. There's so many names for this weapon. It's been in so many Call of Duties, and one thing about the gun is it has always been a great gun, no matter what Call of Duty it's been here. But we're going to get into this build here, and we're going to start with the muzzle, and we're going to add on the suppressor here. We're going to make this a stealthy build here, so we're off the radar, we're staying stealthy, we're being quiet to go on those higher kill streaks, gun streaks, get our nukes, increase our KD, and just go crazy without being seen on that radar. So we are going to add on the suppressor for our first attachment. For the barrel here next, we are going to add on the reinforced barrel. We're going to increase our damage range and bull velocity. Now, this weapon did get a damage range buff, so adding this attachment on is going to make the damage range even better and also allow our bullets to travel faster. So this weapon at longer ranges is going to be better, having nice time to kill. So we are going to add on the reinforced barrel. Now, for the magazine here, we are going to add on the Fast Mag 2. Now, don't get me wrong, having like a, an 85 round mag, a 64 round mag is cool and all, but honestly, just knocking that down to a 40, which I feel like that's plenty here, and we're also getting faster aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and we're able to reload very quickly. So if we get into a gunfight, we're spawn trapping on Nuketown, Babylon or something, and we need to reload really quick, we're going to be able to do that with its attachment here. So the main thing is reloading faster just in case we get into a pickle, and also we're going to be able to move faster and also be aggressive with this build. Now for the rear grip, we're going to add on the CQB grip here. Now, we're just increasing our sprint to fire speed while diving, running, and sliding. That's very important here, so we do want to add on the CQB grip here. And then for my final attachment, we are going to the stock, and what we're going to be doing is adding on the balanced stock. We're going to increase our mobility, so with this submachine gun, we have better mobility, better handling, and better damage, making this SMG very broken. And then get into our final weapon in today's video, guys. We have the Model L. Now, a lot of people like to say this is the easiest weapon to the game. Slow fire rate, really good accuracy, really good damage, up close, long range. It doesn't matter. It can take people out very quickly with how easy this weapon is to use here. But for this build here, we're going to start with the optic. I'm not a fan of the iron sights on this weapon, so we're going to go ahead and throw on that Kepler Microflex. Like I've said, best optic in the game, very clean while aimed down sights. And if you don't have this unlocked yet, add on what you have, add on your favorite optic. For me, though, we are going with the Kepler Microflex. For the muzzle here, we're going to add on the compensator. Now, the weapon doesn't really have much recoil or gun kick, but we're going to go ahead and cancel out every single thing on this weapon. So we're going to add on the compensator. The weapon's really easy to control here, and also the gun kick is non-existent. So you're going to have full control of this weapon with just one attachment. So we're going to make the weapon easier to use, long range, up close, and make this weapon more accurate. Now, for the barrel here, we are going to add on the reinforced barrel once again. Now, we're getting a lot of bullet velocity, and we're also getting a good amount of damage range. Now, with this weapon getting a damage range nerf, this basically fixed the nerf on this weapon here, and we also get a little bit extra damage, and we're also getting a lot of bullet velocity. So our bullets are traveling very quick to hit our targets, traveling further, hitting harder to give us a faster time to kill. Now, we're going to skip the underbarrel, the magazine, and we're going to the rear grip here, and we're going to be adding on the assault grip. Now, the sprint to fire speed on this assault rifle isn't really good. The aim down sight speed is good on this weapon, so the only thing that you need to worry about is the sprint to fire speed on this weapon here. So we're going to add on the assault grip for that extra sprint to fire speed. And then for my final attachment here, we are going to the fire mod, and what we're going to be doing here is actually adding on the recoil springs here, or you could add on the overpressured rounds if you really wanted to for that crazy amount of bullet velocity, which I actually think is the better choice. But the rapid fire is good, the overpressured rounds are good, the recoil springs are good. So if you want more recoil control, go with the recoil springs, but if you want to just have a nasty weapon at long range, add on the overpressured rounds here. But these are the top 10 best weapons to use here right now in Black Ops 6 after our first weapon balance. So go ahead and copy them all down and let me know in the comments if you drop any high kill games. What was your favorite build? Just let me know in the comments. But guys, thanks so much for watching. You guys stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.